You probably did it yourself, or know someone who did, or maybe you are curious to hear others' perspectives. So, sex on the first date, huh? Well, if you are male, your thoughts on that are most likely going to be different from that of a female. You most likely have different views, beliefs, and let's just say, that's what this conversation is about. Let's begin our sex and relationship series with a topic we need to discuss. Because why not? Why don't we? Let's reveal the elephant in the closet, in the room, in our lives. Join Stephanie and I in this much needed talk and stay till the end. Stephanie has a nice surprise for you. Come for a ride on the healing train. I'm Rania, your host, relationship coach, speaker, author, practicing energy healing modalities. I bring to you these discussions so we can heal, become empowered, and grow together. This content contains mature subject matters. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. To work with me, you can find me on www.r2rcoaching.ca. Want to be a guest on the show? Send an email to guest@healingtrain.ca. Hello, Stephanie, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rania. It's a pleasure to be here.
Stephanie, you got two names. You go by Stephanie and you go by nickname Stevie. What's going on there?
Well, Rania, I was born Stephanie, and throughout my healing journey, I've discovered that there's an ideal part of me that has been waiting to blossom, to come out. And that is Stevie. I named her Stevie. Actually, it's a childhood nickname, but I never felt cool enough to use it until I did some healing. And so now I am Stevie.
That sounds so cool. I love it. Before we begin our discussion today, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
So I'm the creator of the Live Lighter game. It is part psychology, part spirituality, and it's all about learning the different selves within us, and so we can integrate them. Inner child, shadow, the mask, the authentic self, and finally the ideal self. And we are all five of them, and throughout our life, we discover them all. I'm also a breathwork facilitator because I've learned through healing that it's not just cognitive, it's actually somatic. I've been working all my life. I have a psychology degree to try to figure out my dysfunction. I was lost, and I'm still finding myself. And so I discovered breath work, and it created a really some intense healing for me, Rania. And I believed in it so much, it helped me out so much that I became a facilitator. And so that is Hero's Breath. And so the Live Lighter game and the Hero's Breath are combined into one overall Live Lighter Now business model.
Thank you so much for sharing about what you do because it's going to tie in so beautifully with our topic for today because we're talking all things sex and we're talking from a perspective of someone who is a breathwork facilitator and all the lovely stuff that you just mentioned. And I want to go right into the topic that a question actually that I had on mind, and I was wondering, do we have one answer to this or more than one answer? And I want you to shed your perspective. I want us to talk about having sex with someone on the first date. I want us to talk about how this turned into a moral judgment that influences our experience. And the second part of this question, if you can keep that in mind, is that why is it that I want to practice my Spanish here? The muchachas, it's just the ladies, are the ones that get judged, and the muchachos, the guys, they don't.
Okay, wow. That is a loaded question and very exciting to answer. First of all, I'd just love to say that This is so interesting and exciting that you brought this spicy topic into a healing place. I think it's very necessary, and I'm so happy that you're doing this. It does take a lot of bravery to talk about these subjects. It's a spicy subject, right? So I'm very happy that you're doing this because it is necessary. So interesting how society, these terms are still so charged. There's emotional charge behind it. To answer your question, I feel that it is okay to have sex on the first date if it is aligned with the person, people, and that the intention behind it matters as well. So I do remember in the past, before a lot of healing, I would have sex on the first date, and um, I felt guilt and shame, and I judged myself, and I worried about the other person judging me too. That didn't make me feel very good though, and so I did some healing, and I realized that after this healing, I switched from moral judgment into, is this aligned for me? Does this make me feel okay? And that's where intentions come from. Before healing, I sought pleasure from another person to heal wounds, to make me feel whole, to validate me, to increase my worth, my worthiness. And I no longer feel that way. I If I do have sex on the first date for other reasons, because I want to be with that person, I feel a connection with them. It does make me feel good, and it's going to make me feel good afterwards as well. So to answer that question, I really do feel that it's on an individual basis. And I know I'm working really hard to take out any kind of judgment and criticism towards myself. Part of unconditional love is loving all parts of ourselves. So if we do need that validation, then accept that and be okay with, okay, well, I had sex on the first date, and it did make me feel good, uh, and I'm okay with that. And okay, it might be part of my healing journey to do this right now. This is my needs right now. I need to feel validated in this way. So it makes it okay then, as long as we're conscious of the behavior, and say, you know what, I love myself no matter what. I'm okay with, I'm not broken, I'm just healing, and it's okay. That second part of the question, the muchachas and the I love those terms.
Yeah.
It is very interesting how society and the conditioning we are experienced through upbringing, and a lot of it is for reasons. They were very valid reasons in the past. Now we're ushering into a new era where we can really question what worked in the past so that we can change and alter it for what it's going to work better for today. So in the past, evolutionarily wise, men are born to spread their seed. Women need to be more discerning, and they were looking for a protector and someone to support them and their offspring. All right. So there is an evolutionary explanation for it. So I can come in from that understanding and acceptance. And I don't personally believe those things. That a man is just a dog if he just wants one thing. And I don't believe a woman is, you know,
Yeah, I know. We're
loose.
trying to dance
Let's
around
just
the word.
let's just
But yes.
call it loose. If she gives herself up on the first date,
Yeah.
um, I don't believe those things. It's societal conditioning that I think we're all trying to work our way out of.
Yeah, you
I
took the
think
word
that.
right out of my mouth, societal
Yeah.
conditioning. And to me, that's what it feels like, is that a lot of these beliefs that we now have that have become so ingrained was passed down to us. And now we're also passing it down to our kids. It's continuous, right? It's like as if we've been, well, it's not as if it is. We've been programmed that this is the way it is. This is, if you do this, it means this, it's equals this, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
formula. We've honestly been learning mathematics from when we were kids. You do this equals you're a good girl, you're a good boy. You don't do this equals you're a bad boy or bad girl. Do you know what I mean? Right?
Yes.
A woman have sex on the first date, then she's a, the S word. A man that wants to have sex with a woman on the first date, then he's a dog. Whatever, right? Like these are all things that have been passed on. And now we're here talking about them and we're questioning where did these ideals and beliefs that have become ingrained in us come from? And are they true? And are they aligned? And what do we do from here? Now that we are bringing this question to the table and now that we're having these discussions openly, because exactly as you said, we need to talk about those things and we need
Mm-hmm.
to heal from these generational traumas, especially around sex, because I mean, let's be real. Almost every single person on this planet is going to have sex at some point in their life. It's bound to happen, right?
It,
Okay,
it's
some
it's
don't, and to each their own, and that's fine, possibly for religious reasons or whatever. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the average person. Most likely you will, right? And when you do, these things are gonna come, right? And it's a battle. It becomes an inner battle. And you said when you were answering the question earlier that it didn't feel right. You felt the guilt, you felt possibly shame, and where they're coming from that conditioning, from that programming. And we need to change it.
mm,
What can we do to change it, Stephanie? What do you think we can do now as an evolved society, men and women in the era that we are in, with all this technology, with all this understanding? What can we do?
I'd love to answer that question. That's a great question. I think all we can do is look inside and be our authentic selves, discover who we really are, what are our values, what are our morals, whatever is right to us, to the individual. We need to look into ourselves, not outside. And then once we know ourselves, be that person. And then no matter how others judge us or criticize us, be strong within ourselves that we know our truth.
Mm.
I think that's the best way to do it. Just be ourselves, looking within. And I think that's how we're going to change things on the individual level. I don't think we need to fight anymore, Rania. I don't think we need to fight anymore. All we need to do is stop fighting ourselves and then just be our truth and live our light. And then everyone else they'll either follow or they won't.
Oh, I'm feeling this so much to the point that I had a crazy thought come into my mind. You know me. I thought about an example that has no relation whatsoever, but it's something that I learned as a child. And I remember my parents teaching me that I have to be the one to not litter, right? If I take the responsibility and don't throw garbage on the ground and make sure that if it dropped from my hand, I pick it up and put it in the garbage bin. It starts with me. And if every single person did that on their own, we'll have clean streets. I know, like I said, it's a totally like not related whatsoever, but that's what came to me right now is taking responsibility for ourselves is exactly what you were saying. And I'm just
Yes.
taking it a different route. And if, yeah, everyone starts to do the inner work, ask the questions. Where did these beliefs come from? What does it feel good for me? Why am I following other people's rules? Okay, let's say. And if it's not
Yes.
sitting well with you and you start to change yourself, your life, start making decisions that align with you. And if every person just did that even silently, without even talking about it, we'll have a changed society and we'll change the culture. one person
Mm-hmm.
at a time. But the problem comes, Stephanie, is that we got people who don't do the inner work, who don't heal, who don't ask questions. And they're not the ones listening to this podcast anyway. They're the same ones who are out there creating problems and chaos, right? Believing in their thoughts. And as much as they want to be leaders, they're still followers of the same generational trauma because they're living with those same beliefs and habits and imposing it on
Yes.
others.
Yes.
We can't change others, we can't control them, but we can only control ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So it always starts with us, and people will follow or they'll do their own thing, and that's okay. And that's okay too. This is a very vast and multi diverse world.
Mm,
And you know what? Everybody's right. Everybody has their own truth. Whether they're following it, somebody else's truth, they've accepted it as their truth.
yeah.
But I feel a little sad for them because they're going to continue behaviors and thoughts and feelings that are not aligned with their truth, their real truth. We were all born to be a specific person, our
Yeah.
best selves,
Yeah.
someone that was brought into this world to make it into a better world. And I feel sad for those people that avoid the inner work. And the inner work isn't easy. It isn't. I'm not going to say it is easy, but it can be made fun. I know because I've done it. I made it fun. And I know other people can do it if they want. And if they don't, that's fine too. We need different people in this world. We need that contrast, Rania. We need other people to challenge us, to remind us where we came from. I experienced that guilt and that shame around having sex with someone on the first date. But I learned to accept it. I saw where it was coming from, whether it was programming, conditioning, whatever you want to call it, or whether it was my own internal wounds. And I came out on the other side, like yourself, a brighter, lighter human being that knows themselves and loves themselves and has created their own self-worth. They're not looking for validation from the outside.
Mhm.
We have the power within us. Everything we need is within us. We just have to be brave and courageous enough to look within
I want
and
to tell that
experience
woman
it.
right now, Stephanie, the one that believes that if she were to give it up, okay, let's use that term, on the first date, she's being perceived by the person that she's with, connecting with, that she's easy. And that wouldn't be marriage material now. It almost like it ruins it. It's like, oh, if you were to give it up on the first date, it means you're easy. It means you're probably doing this all the time. It means you don't value or respect yourself. And it means you can't be the mother of my children if that's what the man is saying to himself.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. And the message is not just for the woman, it's also for the men who are believing these
Mhm.
thoughts. And I'm not saying this out of nowhere. These are real things that have been said,
Yes, of
and I want
course,
us to
of
talk about it.
course, of course. Oh, this is a big question
A
as
big
well,
one, I know.
Rania. For the woman, I would like to ask her, would she want to spend the rest of her life with a man that judges her and criticizes her? Or would she like to spend the rest of her life with a man that is going to love her and cherish her, no matter what happens, no matter what mistakes she may make? Or would she like to be with a man that accepts her and loves her exactly who she is now and in the future? That's for the woman. For the man, I would like to ask him, where did they get this fantasy woman? I would like to know, was it the movies? Was it the Disney movies, maybe? That's what I'd like to ask the men. That, if they really want a woman that is untainted, good luck. Good luck, because we are all human and we all have our own issues. And if they're not willing to love and accept a woman for where she's at now, then it's a reflection on them. In fact, they're not loving and accepting of themselves, the men that are expecting this from women. We are all a mirror for another.
Well, we can take this further, even Stephanie, and I am not here to talk about any particular culture or religion, and let's get that one straight. But are aware that there are specific cultures and specific religions
Mm-hmm.
that claim
Mm-hmm.
a woman needs to be virgin when she
Mm-hmm.
gets married because that is equal honor and purity.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means if a woman were to have had a sexual encounter with a man that isn't her husband before she somehow, some way ends up in a situation where she is marrying someone with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
then she is not pure. Can we talk about that, please?
Sure. Well, I really believe that there's a truth, like it's all true. Everything in this world is true, whether it's dark or light, right? So I'd just like to start off with that. Um, in my own case, after a lot of healing, I am protecting my energy. I'm protecting my energy more. I don't just go out and give it willy-nilly. When you're intimate with someone, you're sharing not only your energy but bodily fluids. You're sharing DNA with that person. You're actually taking on their traumas, they're taking on your traumas. It's very energetic, not only physiological but energy wise as well. So when we're unhealed, we're looking for that wholeness without from outside of ourselves. When we're more healed, we create that wholeness within ourselves. And so those cultural dogmas about virginity, there's truth behind it. 100%, I'm not going to negate that at all. And again, it comes down to that person's individual truth. Is that aligned with you? It is protecting your energy and your body and waiting for that real special person come along. That's great too. That's totally 100% acceptable. I think that's very honorable and very respectable for sure. But on the other hand, too, if it is aligned with you and you do want to share your body and your energy with this other person, then that's good too. I think it's all right. I think it's all right. I really don't feel that there is any wrong unless we place meaning to it. Like everything means nothing unless we place meaning to it. So if we think that having sex on the first date is wrong, then it's going to be wrong. If we think that having sex on that first date because it makes us feel good, then it's right.
Are you enjoying your journey on the healing train? I hope you are, just as much as I am loving this conversation and every conversation with every guest. We are talking about sex, relationships, becoming empowered, and yes, healing too. We need to heal the old narrative around our relationship with sex, pleasure, and our bodies. A lot of work goes into these episodes, and I would love for more people to find this. If you felt how powerful my message is, support this channel, this platform, wherever you are tuning from. Give some love, comment, and share it. It only takes a few seconds to help this show and help me reach more people. Thank you. I love that. I love you bringing that perspective in, and it helps people understand that There really is no wrong or right per se. It's an individual choice. And while there are cultural beliefs and rules, it all boils down to the individual. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, these two main ingredients right here, culture and religion, play a huge role in how people navigate their life,
Mhm.
period, including the sexual part. So there
Mhm.
are women out there who are not able to become themselves fully and completely because they are in that culture. So even though there is that desire to express themselves and they may feel differently, they can't do it. And they're not their best version of themselves. And they end up being in situations, unfortunately, where they just have to follow against that nudge inside. And again, we're
Mhm.
not here to fix the world and the problems of the world, but we're just bringing a perspective. And if this woman is listening to us right now that is in that culture, is in that religion, that is telling her you would be unpure or unhonorable or you would be a disgrace to our family, and you don't believe that, then you have to make a choice, my friend. You choose yourself or you choose to follow just because you want to be part of that family, culture, dynamic, whatever it may be. You can't have it both. It's either you honor yourself or you honor everything else around you. You have the choice to make. Is it an
And
easy one? No, it's not. And we're not
and
saying it is.
no, and Rania, I've done that myself, releasing old patterns and beliefs. I've had to let people go because their beliefs do not align with mine, and it is scary. It does take a lot of courage to break free from, especially culture and religion and society. Our family are, they're part of us. Our
Yeah,
family are our DNA. So they are the hardest to, or the most difficult to release. But do you want to be happy or do you want to be safe? See, sometimes safety is hidden, right? It's hidden in comfort.
mm,
And to break free, to be ourselves, and to follow our truth takes courage, because we'll have to leave, or we may have to leave, not necessarily, but we may have to leave or disconnect from those things that tie us back to the past and that are not aligned with our beliefs. So you can stay where you are and be comfortable, because every situation is not totally awful. Like, I know you and I both have a similar experience with being with narcissistic partners. And I really thought I was happy in that situation because I have this superpower to look at the bright side of everything. And we tend to focus on that, and we create our joy out of that. But then deep inside, in the middle of the night, when our defenses are down and we're crying into our pillows because we are desperately unhappy, because we're not being ourselves, we're not following our truth. And in order to take that huge step, to leave everything that you know that comforts you, is a huge step. It takes faith, it takes trust, and it takes knowing that everything is going to be fine. Those people that are aligned with our beliefs and our truth, they're going to show up. We just have to be brave enough to do what we need to do on our own until that happens.
totally. And that ties in perfectly with the original question I asked is it wrong for us to have sex on the first date? Well, if you met your right match, he will not think of you as a whatever. He will not say, oh, she's easy. He will not judge you. He will not have those thoughts because he will be right there with you, connecting with you, knowing that it feels right. because
Mhm.
something is pulling you towards each other beyond physical attraction, hopefully.
Yes.
But an unspoken connection, possibly a soul connection,
Mhm.
right? We don't talk about that much. We always talk about the physical attraction or the chemistry. These things are great. There's hormones involved. There's all kinds of science that we can discuss here. But what about those times when you are in presence of someone you met, maybe for the first time or second time, but let's just say it is the first date after all, and there's something unspoken and you express it through getting closer. Because what is sex at the end of the day other than an expression of an emotion? And a lot of times we say an expression of love. But on the first date, okay, let's not call it love because that's creepy. Maybe it
No,
didn't
it's
happen
not
right
love.
away. But there's something. There is something that we don't know how to put a name to it. We can't label it, right? But there is something that's pulling you towards each other. It's like, I found you. Oh, there you are. Oh, there's a
Yes.
familiar. Oh, I feel safe with you even though I'm with you for the first time. It's those feelings that you actually can't put into words. And I'm having a hard time putting them into words because it's something that is felt, something that you
It,
just, it touches you so deeply. And you're with that person and it feels like the
you've
world
known them for a
stopped.
lifetime.
Yeah.
The world stopped. You've known them for a lifetime. It's like you remember them.
Mm,
Yeah. We can feel that somatically in our body. It's when our nervous system relaxes,
mm,
and that's a soul connection. We can feel it. We might not be able to articulate it, but we can feel it. We feel it in our bodies. Our shoulders relaxing, our jaws relaxing, our breath becoming deeper. It's a soul connection.
mm. I'm so glad that came up. I don't know where that came
Me
from, but
too.
it felt right because Stephanie, I experienced it. And I
Me
know you
too.
have. You
Me
don't have
too.
to tell me, but I know you have. But I definitely have. And you know what? I'm so grateful that I did. These are the
Yes.
moments that I'm like, I lived. Just living that moment right there. I feel like I truly lived. Because when you experience something different that isn't so deep, you know the difference. Like you know
Yes.
the difference between light and dark when you experience both, right? You know
Yes.
the feeling.
Yes.
And when you've been in that experience of absolute bliss, absolute connection, you're like, this is it. Now, mind you, it still may not work as in a relationship for marriage on long term. And that's what I want us to talk about next. The next question that I really would love for us to tackle here is just because you feel a connection with someone and it's beautiful and it feels like this is it, this is it, this is it, it's not necessary that it's meant to last. Can you talk about that with us?
Sure. I'd love to. Um, in my personal opinion, I feel like we have multiple soulmates, um, and not necessarily sexual partners either. They can come in the form of friends or whatever. Even family members can be soulmates, I think. We're along a journey here, and our soul is searching to become whole again. And others come into our lives to show us how to become whole. Some people come into our lives to activate our knowledge where, oh, I'm not living aligned. I'm not living my truth. This is my truth because this is what lights me up. Doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel alive. And there's not, that's I think the whole point of life is to be here and experience pleasure, experience joy, experience bliss. And sometimes it's fleeting because another lesson we need to learn in this life is loss and letting go and releasing. So sometimes people come into our lives for a short time, but they leave such a big impact. They change us from the inside. And then when they've done what they've came into this world, into our lives for, then they must leave. And that's when we need to say goodbye and thank them with gratitude. Thank you for showing me more of who I really am. And there is a pleasure in release too. There's a pleasure in the darkness. It's all beautiful. It's all so very beautiful. This life is beautiful. All the good and the bad. The darkness is just as beautiful as the light. But the idea is to be able to release them, experience that loss, and keep from that experience what makes us feel really good. And then another soulmate will come along and they'll help us on the next part of our journey. And maybe they'll be there for a little while, maybe they'll be there for the rest of our lives. Who knows? Who knows? Part of this life is having that childlike curiosity. I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder who else is going to show up in my life. What do you think, Rania? Tell me what you think.
Totally. When you were speaking, I was like, did she just like go inside my mind and read everything? I agree with you 100%. Not just because we're here on the podcast having this conversation, but you and I are aligned in so many ways. And no wonder you showed up in my life and I showed up in yours in the very synchronistic way that we did. And so grateful that I actually did meet you and having this conversation here with you because this is a heart to heart talk. And if people are watching us, not just listening, you would see it in our faces that we're truly speaking from the heart. It shows in our eyes.
We've gone through the darkness and we've come out, and we've come out brighter people with our heart open. We didn't let our negative experience close our heart off. When we close our heart off, we close it off to everything else: joy, bliss, even gratitude. We, with a closed heart, it's hard to feel anything. So when we go through that darkness, which we need to contrast the light, we absolutely need that darkness. There's no avoiding it. There's always going to be dark in this world. Always. And this is where I've come with that total acceptance. I love this. I love this topic. I love how you've done all this, Rania.
Well, it's
You're on your
interesting,
path.
Stephanie, that we started off with one big question, right? But then we ended up venturing deeper and we never really knew where this was going to take us, but it took us exactly where it was meant to take us. And maybe we veered away a little bit from the main topic, but I don't think so. I think it's all related and connected.
It's all
And
related. It's pleasure. Pleasure. Sex is pleasure.
yeah,
Right. And I really feel that we were born to experience all of it. And there's nothing wrong with pleasure. We were gifted with it for a reason.
yes, yes. And for those who are listening or watching, you are getting more than what you thought you would get today in this conversation. We're not just answering you, is it wrong to have sex on the first date? We've gone deeper, and I am hoping that this helps you in some way. But just when you think you had enough, there's actually more. Stephanie has a great surprise for you. And for those who are willing to go on a journey with me, there will be a link where you can click and join us on that journey of breath work. And I do want to end this episode on a note, trust your instincts. Trust your instinct. What is it telling you? Are you aligned? These beliefs that you've been living with, are they right for you? Don't worry about what other people are saying because people are always going to be saying things. The society and the culture you live in isn't going anywhere. You are part of that. And there will always be opinions. But do you want to live your life based on the opinion of others or based on what it feels for you? Right here. Listen to that. And Stephanie, if you want to close this episode for us before we dive into the great work that we're going to be doing later, do you want to have some lasting words for our audience?
I would. Thank you very much, Rania. In the past, for me, it was really difficult to hear myself, my intuition, and know my truth because my nervous system was activated all the time. When we're in fight or flight mode, it's like we have blinders on and we're just like all over the place. We're scattered. And it isn't until we relax that's when we can come back into ourselves. And that's when we can listen to ourselves. We can really hear our truth. We need to shut out all of the outside. We can't do that when we're in fight or flight. We're in survival mode. We need to be in thriving mode. And that's why I love breath work, is because it gives me that ability to control my own nervous system through breath and rhythm. It's so simple. It's so simple and it's so fun too. Healing can be fun. Healing can be fun. It doesn't have to be scary. That's my closing remarks.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show with me and going along on this journey where we talk all things sex. Stephanie, do you want to share just briefly what our audience is in for a treat for our next segment?
Oh, I would love to. So first, we're just going to open up with a little bit of gratitude and intention. I'm going to teach people diaphragmic breathing because the deep breathing, when we're in fight or flight, it's all shallow. So I'm going to teach some diaphragmic deep breathing very shortly. And then we're going to get into just 2 breathing rounds. I'm going to give you an experience of upregulating and downregulating, so you can get a little bit of both. I've carefully chosen the songs. And afterwards, we end with a little bit of more gratitude. And then your nervous system should be nice and relaxed, and people should be breathing deeply, naturally, at least for a few little moments after they click off.
So, if you are ready for this ride, click the link and join us on this journey.